Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bayt.com's Career Talk. I'm Hatem. On this week's episode, I want to talk to you about some questions you should ask during a job interview to make the employer want to hire you. Now, interviews are a two-way street. Just as much as the employer is asking questions to learn more about you, you should have some questions prepared to ask them that will make them understand that you're interested about the job, that you have a passion for it, that you really want to work for that organization, and at the same time, make sure for yourself that this company is a fit for you. Now, a company is interested to know if you have the right qualifications, the right skill sets, if you fit the company's culture. You should be interested to understand if this company is the right fit for your career plan. Now, we've spoken in past episodes about having a career plan, and you should always keep that in mind whenever evaluating a job offer or any opportunity in front of you. So on this week's episode, we're going to go through some questions to keep in mind to ask the interviewer. Do some research about the organization, understand where they stand right now, what they hope to aspire, what their culture is about, what terminology they use within the organization. Do your research beforehand, prepare yourself for that interview to ask these questions that would help you, and also communicate your interest and passion for that specific opportunity to make the employer want to hire you. So here are 6 questions to keep in mind. Number 1, what are the day-to-day responsibilities of the job? Now, if you've done your research ahead of time, the most basic research, you'd understand what the job description entails. In a job description, generally you see a task list, the overall task list of what you're expected to accomplish within an organization, what your responsibilities are. But breaking it down, asking about the day-to-day specifics gives you a better idea of what the skills needed are for the job, where your strengths align with the job and where they don't, and whether this job is really actually interesting and aligns with what you hope to achieve or not. It might be a job that overall, the tasks seem interesting and seem aligned with what you want to achieve, but when you break it down to the actual day-to-day specifics of it, it ends up being something maybe very boring or something that has nothing to do with your strengths or doesn't align with where you want to be. So understand what the day-to-day specifics are of that task list. Number 2, who held this position before me and why am I replacing them? Now, if you've watched our episode from last week about evaluating a job offer, I touched on this specific point. And if you didn't watch the episode, catch it here. Now, in that episode, we asked you to ask the employer when evaluating a job offer to ask them about the previous person who was in that position that you're replacing. Why did they leave? Where are they now? You might want to ask these questions to understand what the chances for advancement are. Now, that previous person might have left because there was no room for them to grow any further and they were chasing growth opportunities elsewhere. Or that person might have been promoted within that same organization. Now, that's something that would be great news for you to know that there is a career path ahead of you, that there's a ladder that you can climb within the organization. And at the same time, then would allow you to evaluate where you can bring value to the employer, where the previous person was not maybe able to. Number 3, how do you evaluate success here? Now, understanding the measures that the employer will put on you, the success measures to understand whether you're doing a good job or not, is important for you to understand. You and your employer might be aligned in terms of what the overall objective is for your position, but understanding how they will measure if you're doing a good job or not is important. It will allow you to understand how to go about your daily tasks. You might be achieving the overall objective, but along the way, you need to show the employer that you are reaching the key milestones that they've set for you, the key measures that they're expecting you to achieve. That makes sure that you're both aligned on a day-to-day level and make sure that you both have that visibility, that transparency, and understanding that you're both heading in the same direction. Number 4, where do you see the company going in the next few years? If you have plans and aspirations for your own personal career development, you need to make sure you're aligned with an organization that's also aiming to grow. That gives you room to grow yourself. In fact, 85% of professionals in the MENA region have said that career development is very important to them. 54% are willing to move to another country altogether in pursuit of career development, and 53% are interested in moving to another sector in hopes of career development. So always make sure that you're aligned with the organization you're applying to and the opportunity in front of you in terms of growth. Number 5, what can you tell me about the team I'll be working with? Understanding the team that you're expected to work with is as important as understanding the job. Most jobs these days are collaborative in nature. They require you to work as part of a team. This also lets the employer that you are a team player. They know that you have that interest, that you understand the nature of the job. And understanding how you fit there can ultimately determine your success within an organization. You might love what the job tasks are and the responsibilities are, and they align perfectly with your strengths, but because of the team dynamics, you aren't able to excel. So understanding what the team is about and what they're like will help you determine your potential success within an organization. Number 6, what's the next step for us to proceed? Now, this is a very important and essential question to wrap up the interview. It shows the interviewer that you have leadership skills, that you're proactive, that you're actually keen to move forward in this process. It might, in some cases, not always, in some cases, have the interviewer disclose disclose some information about how many other candidates are in the running. And this will also help you manage your own expectations in terms of a timeline, time frame to know when to expect to hear back from the employer, and also gives you an opportunity to follow up with them. Thank you all for watching. That's all I have for you today. And remember, interviews are a two-way street. Just as much as the employer wants to learn about you, you should be interested in learning about the employer to make sure that your goals and your ambitions are aligned. And these 6 questions are just a starting point for you, the basics to ask. Through your own research about the organization before the interview, you will find your own questions coming up. So make sure to take note of them and don't be afraid or shy to ask about anything. It only shows proactivity and interest from your side. As always, if you've enjoyed this and some of our other episodes, we have new episodes every week. Follow us here on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram as well for the latest updates, and I'll see you next week.